Welcome to the Rewriting Naruto series part 62. This is a series of videos where I rewrite Naruto, making changes to improve the story for my personal taste. Please like the video to help out the series. It's a big fight coming down this episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe and definitely ring notifications so you always know when the rewrites come out. Do all those things, it takes 2 seconds and it really helps me. Now, let's get going. After Jiraiya plummeted into the ocean, we're gonna get the same scene of Pain acknowledging Jiraiya's strength, and that if Jiraiya knew his secret, he could have been done for. And then Pain will command Zetsu to show himself like in the original, and this is where a few changes are gonna happen. It's not going to be the entire Zetsu body emerging, it's only gonna be white Zetsu, without the black part. So he'll look like what the white Zetsus look in the War Arc. And that's because the real Zetsu is busy taking care of things with Madara regarding the Leaf Battalion. Sure, took you a while. My opponent was Jiraiya. He was quite an interruption. Madara had ordered me to capture the Nine Tails. I see, it's gonna take a little longer for you to prepare then. Yes. Where's your counterpart? Oh, I'm just a special clone. The real ones are taking care of business in the Land of Fire. We actually know where the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails is right now, but he's guarded by a platoon of ninjas though. Capturing him there would be extremely difficult. I must recompose myself from the fight against Jiraiya. One of my paths was taken. I must find a new one. After that, I will set to capture the Nine Tails. I'd love to watch that, but Black Zetsu wants to watch a different fight. What fight? And that's when we cut to Itachi telling Sasuke, "Me, dead at your feet? Well then." Itachi appears by Sasuke with great speed, making the red cloak he was gifted in the Land of Crystals flap. Let's get to it. The Itachi versus Sasuke fight begins, and we have the initial exchange where they trade genjutsu with each other. That remains the same. Sasuke's questions to Itachi also remain the same, asking about who the third living Uchiha was. Like in the original, Sasuke deduces Itachi had a collaborator in the Uchiha clan massacre, but this is where we have a change, because Itachi's answer to Sasuke's question there will be different. You're both correct and incorrect. Your deduction that another Uchiha besides us lives is right. However, I did not have a collaborator when I ended the clan. Even though I knew of his existence, I asked him not to interfere. Killing them all was my duty alone. As I told you before, I needed to measure my capacity. If another had helped me, then my efforts would go to waste. Sasuke scowled in anger, still piercing Itachi with his sword through the stone throne. Who is the Uchiha? Itachi closed his eyes and breathed in. Madara Uchiha. Sasuke remembered the consciousness of the Nine Tails comparing him with Madara. He also remembered when he found out the Uchiha clan's secret basement, where he saw a hidden family tree detailing that Madara was his great-grandfather. He remembered the story he heard about Madara in the Land of Crystals, when he destroyed their entire village, killing thousands. Sasuke looked at the red cloak he wore, a symbol of what he was trying to accomplish, to restore his clan's honor. One of the founders of the Leaf Village, and the man who first awakened the Mangekyou Sharingan. That's impossible. He can't still be alive. Are you playing with me? Madara is alive. Whether you want to believe me or not is your choice. Quit joking around. Madara's our great-grandfather. He's too ancient. And the first Hokage killed him. I see you found our family tree. Yes, we are his direct descendants. And no, he did not die in the battle in the Valley of the End, despite what the first Hokage and all the others thought. You never change, do you? Lying through your teeth like always. Tell me who the Uchiha is. I'll kill him after you. Itachi sighed. Every single one of us goes through life depending on and bound by our individual knowledge and awareness. That's what we call reality. From there, we get the same conversation that they had in the original. The changes here establish that Itachi killed all the Uchihas by himself, which makes it a much more impactful moment for the character, and that both Itachi and Sasuke know Madara is directly related to them. Everything continues to unfold the same until Itachi explains Madara's history and flashback with the Mangekyou and Eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. When he talks about that not every Uchiha can attain that power, he will say, I tried to gain such powers by using our father's eyes, but they failed to provide me eternal light. Just like Madara unveiled, the eyes must come from a full sibling. The scene continues the the same way until eventually Itachi screams at Sasuke with his maniacal laughter, but that was a genjutsu that Sasuke sees through. Sasuke removes the bandages that were on his forehead, but unlike in the original, he won't get rid of his cloak, and will keep the Crimson Land of Crystal's cloak on him as he continues to fight. It seems like you were able to see my internal self, Itachi says, just like in the original, and from there the fight unfolds the same, with a shuriken exchange, Sasuke being caught and breaking free of Tsukuyomi, and Zetsu observing and commenting on the fight. One difference that'll be happening during the whole fight is that Sasuke will always weave one-handed signs to use Chidori and its variants, as well as summoning shuriken, which he just doesn't do in the original, he just uses the jutsu. The next change will happen when Itachi starts to weave hand signs, and Zetsu thinks he's preparing to use Amaterasu. As Itachi weaved swift hand signs, Sasuke quickly summoned 2 kunais from the seal-imbued wristband and tossed them at Itachi. The kunais had paper bombs attached to them. Itachi dodged, still weaving signs, and the kunais impacted on the ground. Only one of them exploded, which obscured the hideout room for an instant. Is Itachi going to use Amaterasu? Sasuke's quick. He doesn't want to let him do it. White Zetsu thought, watching the fight. I don't know. I thought Amaterasu didn't require hand signs, Black Zetsu thought. While Itachi was still in the smoke, Sasuke summoned a large Fuma Shuriken and tossed it at Itachi's position. The shuriken entered the smoke, and Itachi only perceived it when it broke through the smoke near him, and it was already extremely close. How does he know where I am in the smoke? Itachi thought, because he had moved around to confuse Sasuke. He readied himself to duck down and avoid the spinning shuriken, but that was when he realized it was a shadow shuriken jutsu. There was another Fuma Shuriken coming from below, trailing and hiding under the shadow of the first shuriken. Sasuke laced the upper shuriken with a long-distance electric current. There was no time for Itachi to dart to the side, so he jumped in between the 2 large shuriken, cutting through the smoke. Itachi felt the air current they created as he was still in the air in between the 2 hunks of metal. The blades rotated past Itachi, and that's when he noticed something among the smoke. He saw thin wires attached to both shuriken. Rigged shuriken, Itachi thought. Sasuke pulled on the wires, and the upper shuriken bursted, launching its blades to all sides, one of which was launched towards Itachi. Using the sound cue of the burst, Itachi deduced the shuriken exploded once directed at him, and figured out where the blade was coming from just from the sound. He pulled a kunai out of his sleeve, and while still in the air, Itachi flicked the kunai at the incoming shuriken blade. Metal hit metal with a sharp clink, diverting the blade, making it miss Itachi, but Sasuke used his wire and pulled the second shuriken, still intact, the one from below, bringing it spinning to Itachi's back. Itachi landed on his side, using his elbow to sustain his weight, and weaved the shadow clone hand sign. A clone appeared right behind Itachi with a kunai in hand to block the shuriken. Even if Sasuke infused it with lightning to slice through Itachi, the clone would buy Itachi enough time to dodge and regroup. But before the shuriken even struck Itachi's clone, it puffed into white smoke and became Sasuke. A shuriken transformed shadow clone. He must have done it when I was in the smoke. Sasuke's clone slashed with his sword at Itachi's clone, who moved his kunai to block, but in a fraction of a second, Sasuke's clone became bright orange. Fire clone, Itachi thought, weaving hand signs. The fire clone erupted, destroying Itachi's shadow clone and engulfing the real Itachi in flames. The explosion dispersed the black smoke, and the fire that leapt out of it left several sections of the room burning, but the real Itachi managed to use a water-style barrier to coat his body and protect himself at the last second. That is very impressive. What is? The method Sasuke used to sense Itachi and attack him even though he was in the smoke, nullifying his Sharingan in the process. How did he do it? I didn't notice. When he tossed the 2 paper bomb kunais, one of them was real, but the other one was a snake transformed into a kunai. That's why only one exploded. The snake used the cover of the smoke to observe the fight and informed Sasuke of Itachi's position through a mental link. But how could it see Itachi if he was in the smoke? Snakes can see heat, so it knew exactly where Itachi was. If Itachi wasn't so fast and talented, Sasuke's last combo would have worked. Black Zetsu thought, observing a small white snake on the ground a few meters away from Itachi, which he nailed into the head with a tossed kunai, killing it. Sasuke dashed, igniting a Chidori with one-handed signs. The Chidori extended into a long Chidori spear and he sliced at Itachi from 5 meters away. Itachi, now on his feet, dashed back, passing through his own water barrier. Sasuke's lightning spear cut through the water, destroying the barrier, and Sasuke unleashed white snakes from his arm that leaped at Itachi from a distance. With the other arm, he thrust with a long Chidori. Itachi dodged the snakes with great speed and elegance, cutting off their heads with kunai slashes in the process. Sasuke slashed horizontally with his Chidori spear at Itachi's waist, forcing Itachi to bend backwards, putting his hands on the ground to dodge it. Two large white snakes dashed in from each side, hitting Itachi's flanks as he was bent, but Itachi used his hands to create leverage and lift his legs upwards, twisting his body and kicking both snakes at the same time with a rotating motion while he was upside down. The snake heads were shot back, and they hit the ground with loud crunches, cracking the rock. But Sasuke rushed Itachi, lacing his sword with lightning and discharging a flurry of strikes that forced Itachi to dodge. His Mangekyou Sharingan darted from side to side, following the azure glowing sword. Applying a lot of defense, aren't you? What's the matter? Is my capacity too great for you to handle? Or are you just feeling the effects of Tsukuyomi? It doesn't matter. That's just perfect for me, Sasuke said, as the patterns of his curse mark took over his skin and he went straight into the second stage with two wings emerging from his back. Sasuke's speed surged, and Itachi narrowed his eyes, focusing him to dodge out of the strikes in the nick of time. From the moment Sasuke nullified Tsukuyomi, he seized control of the flow of the battle, and Itachi's movements got slower because the toll the jutsu took on him. Sasuke might actually win this thing. Nah, it's too early to tell. Itachi's used to the pain, and he can still keep up with the full speed of the curse mark. Itachi once more dodged the lightning-laced sword, but that was a feint strike. Sasuke wanted Itachi to move to the right place so he could land his next blow, a kick. He threw his right leg at Itachi, who raised his arm to block. Even though the attack didn't hit Itachi on the face and was absorbed by his arms, Itachi was launched back, sliding on the ground. Sasuke dashed at him, not letting Itachi recompose himself. He used his wings to gain even more speed on the ground. Sasuke slashed Itachi again, who just barely managed to dodge, but that wasn't all. Sasuke weaved one-handed signs. Chidori stream! Lightning exploded out of him, hitting Itachi and everywhere else in the room, cracking rock, breaking tiles apart, even forcing Zetsu to retreat back into the ceiling itself. Itachi winced in pain but weaved a hand sign. Fire style. Delay light of the twilight. The fire that had caught around several places in the room leaped out of the ground, walls, and ceiling, becoming thin, incandescent strings that beamed at Sasuke from all sides. Some fire beams were destroyed by Sasuke's lightning discharge, but several of them managed to reach him. Sasuke avoided a couple of them, but there were simply too many for him to dodge. He was forced to block two of the beams with his wing, which got singed. And as that distracted Sasuke, Itachi dashed at him with great speed, ignoring the pain that Chidori stream caused, and kicked Sasuke in the head and launched him away. Sasuke bounced 5 times on the ground and hit the concrete wall, breaking off large chunks of it, and cracks began to spread. This forcefully deactivated Sasuke's Chidori stream. Sasuke stood up with a bruised, bloody face as Itachi looked at him with wisps of lightning still around his body. That's impressive. I had no idea that fire was Itachi's. You mean the fire he used just now was his own jutsu before? Yes. When Sasuke's fire clone exploded, it launched out fire. The fire that caught on the room, however, was not Sasuke's, but Itachi's. He used Sasuke's jutsu to disguise his own, making it seem like he was just weaving signs for the water barrier, when in reality he used a delayed fuse fire-style jutsu so that he could use it later in an opportune moment. Sasuke had no idea. Itachi spread his own fire around the room. At the same time, Sasuke's clone bursted, so it looked normal, and when he weaved that last sign, he activated his jutsu's initial command, which was to target Sasuke. He managed to think that far ahead in such a short time period and with so much pressure, not to mention how fast he had to weave hand signs for 2 jutsus. Yes, that is the power
of the prodigy Uchiha.
Itachi weaved fast hand signs, ninja art, murder of crows. Countless crows spurted out of Itachi's body and took over the entire room. They flew in all directions, cawing and rattling all around Sasuke, and strangely enough, the air also became hot. Genjutsu again? Sasuke wondered, but it didn't take him long to realize that it was ninjutsu. Those crows were real chakra creations. Itachi disappeared. Sasuke looked around in alarm. He couldn't see his brother. Sasuke moved his wing and blocked a kunai that appeared out of nowhere. He didn't see it being launched. The blade pierced through the wing and drew blood. The crows made everything chaotic. More kunais began to appear. Sasuke could only notice them in time to use his wing and block. Another kunai, another strike to the wing. He blocked that one, but there was an explosive tag on it. Sasuke weaved hand signs and brought his wing close to his hands. He touched the paper tag, and using the sealing jutsu Kakashi had taught him all those years ago, he defused the paper bomb. For whatever reason, the time he used that jutsu to save Sakura popped into his mind. But Sasuke cleared his thoughts and dashed away. He had to move. Itachi was using the crows to hide his own presence. They were so numerous that Itachi could stay away and use the movement of the crows during the fight itself to completely block Sasuke's line of sight to him. Combined with that, Itachi was using the Uchiha Shuriken jutsu to launch kunais in strange angles, hitting each other, diverting the kunais to the actual target. That way, Itachi's location would be much more difficult to be pinpointed, and it would be even more difficult for Sasuke to see the incoming kunais. The crows helped hiding them when they were too close to Sasuke for comfort. Regardless of that, Sasuke had to do something. He couldn't sustain the second stage for too long. He managed to block incoming kunais, now pairing with his sword, getting more used to the pattern, but some of them were still blocked by the wings, and more blood was being drawn. He slashed at a few crows, and noticed his sword simply phased through them. It's not genjutsu, but they are immaterial, probably made out of pure spiritual chakra. That makes things more complicated. I can't simply destroy them to see where Itachi is. Now I understand. That's why the air got hot. Itachi used some fire-style jutsu to heat the air all around us so my snakes can't detect his heat signature. So he saw through my last jutsu, huh? Still, this may actually work to my favor in the end, Sasuke thought, as Itachi appeared out of nowhere from behind. A flock of flying crows that had just created some space opened itself up, revealing Itachi. He wielded a kunai and slashed it towards Sasuke, who parried with his sword and counterattacked. But before he could hit back, Itachi exploded, launching Sasuke away. He grunted with a powerful blast, and more kunais appeared from all directions after Sasuke impacted the ground. Explosive shadow clone? Sasuke thought in frustration, blocking a few kunais with his sword and others with his wings. He had to undo the explosive tag in two of those with a sealing jutsu. Two Itachis appeared, one from each side of Sasuke. He ignited a powerful Chidori stream. The lightning passed through the crows harmlessly, but it hit the Itachis. They both exploded, but the Chidori stream slowed them down enough so Sasuke would be fast to completely avoid the blasts. His Sharingan darted from side to side. He tried to find a clue that would give away Itachi's true location, but it was simply impossible. The way the crows moved was way too chaotic and well disguised. Itachi had perfected that jutsu. The real Itachi and even his clones could be anywhere. It was also impossible to hear any sound clues because of the noise the crows made. More kunais, and some with explosive tags, kept on coming.
Itachi is cooking him alive, and the clock is ticking against Sasuke. If he deactivates the curse mark, he won't be able to keep up with the murder of crows, and the kunais will start hitting his actual body. But if he keeps it activated for too long, the curse mark itself will destroy him.
This jutsu is so cruel. Why doesn't Sasuke just fly away though? That could help.
If he flies, he can't use his wings to protect himself. Itachi's jutsu is keeping him grounded.
Zetsu observed Itachi and a few of his clones moving behind the crows, tossing kunais that hit each other and were redirected towards Sasuke. From their vantage point, it was incredibly easy to see where Itachi was. He was using the crows to block himself specifically from Sasuke. Sasuke tried to send snakes to spot Itachi. Even if they couldn't sense his heat, they could still see him with their eyes. But Itachi used the crows to block the snake's sight as well, and kunais quickly hit their skulls, killing them shortly after they emerged from Sasuke's body. He blocked another kunai with his wing and brought the wing close to his hand so that he could defuse a paper bomb. Both his wing wings bled profusely, and several holes were pierced by the kunais, many of which were still shoved in the wings. So much so that the wing he just brought closer to him became crumpled up, and the large hand that the wing was closed up. Pain washed over Sasuke. The curse mark was beginning to take over his body. He had kept it activated for much longer than normal.
Is that all you've got, my dear Sasuke? You need my help.
He heard Orochimaru's voice from within. Sasuke suppressed it and ignored the pain. He had gotten excellent at that after the encounter with Shino. It didn't matter at that point if he felt pain or not. If Sasuke killed Itachi and the curse mark took over him afterwards, his goal would still be fulfilled. Two more Itachi clones appeared, forcing Sasuke to use another powerful Chidori stream to escape their explosions.
You bastard!
Sasuke shouted, igniting a Chidori, jumping up high. He meant to break the ceiling and escape the enclosed space. Too predictable, Sasuke, Itachi said, appearing upside down, standing on the ceiling, surrounded by crows. Itachi protected the section of the ceiling Sasuke meant to break, and he was going to intercept Sasuke. Itachi pulled out a kunai, and after that, weaved hand signs, fire style, world's brazier. An incandescent fire blade extended from his kunai, forming a radiant sword. Sasuke aimed his Chidori at Itachi, but Itachi caught his wrist with his free hand and slashed with a blazing sword. Sasuke used a closed-up wing and blocked the slashing attack, but Itachi's blade cut through the base of the wing, bisecting it and cauterizing it immediately. Sasuke winced and ignited a Chidori stream, forcing Itachi to release his wrist, but Itachi kicked Sasuke on the stomach and sent him rocketing back down to the ground, trailed by lightning. He impacted the ground below, creating a small crater, but the closed-up wing Itachi had just cut was still in the air, below but close to Itachi. It ignited in a fiery explosion. Itachi dashed away, but the explosion was great. The shock wave still hit him, launching Itachi to the opposite side of the room and making him impact the wall. He fell back to the ground and landed awkwardly. The wing blast blew a hole in the ceiling, concrete fell back to the ground, and the hot air began to rise and escape through the hole. Oh, so Sasuke stashed his wing with paper bombs and sacrificed it to try and get Itachi. Itachi didn't even realize. That's why he closed the wing. It wasn't because it was too damaged.
And because the hot air will rise, the temperature in the room will drop, and Sasuke can use his snakes to sense Itachi's position among the crows. Sustaining the murder will be pointless now.
Right on cue, the crows faded out of existence around Itachi and Sasuke. I'll take it back. You can be quite unpredictable. Itachi pulled out a kunai again and extended the fire blade next to him. You don't know anything about me. If you could see through my real will, your legs would be shaking now. Sasuke ignited his sword with lightning. Itachi smirked. Then show it to me. They dashed at each other. The blue and yellow blades clashed with an explosion of lightning and fire mixed together. They both unleashed a sequence of cuts, slices, thrusts, blocks, and parries, and moved so fast their swords became a blue and yellow blur. The sound of their clashes was a continuous blast, as the intervals between the hits was so short, I can't even see their moves.
Their blood boils with power.
Fire and lightning gushed out of their clashes. Sasuke ignited a Chidori stream, spreading the lightning around him. Itachi dashed back to avoid the electricity and swung his sword a few meters away from Sasuke. A blade of fire leaped out of Itachi's blade, cruising the air towards Sasuke. He dodged it, and the fire blade cut a wall on the other side of the hideout, burning it in the process. But Itachi zigzagged, avoiding Sasuke's lightning needles, and launched a sequence of long-distance fire blades. Sasuke weaved signs and launched a lightning dragon from his hand, which clashed and protected him from the blades. Their jutsus erupted, and both Itachi and Sasuke dashed at each other again, dispersing the fire and lightning from the explosion as they clashed in the middle of it. Snakes emerged from Sasuke's back, arcing towards Itachi as they clashed. Itachi jumped away, tossing kunais, engulfed in fire, which the snakes blocked. Sasuke jumped after Itachi, creating a wing out of snakes to replace the one he lost. He extended his Chidori into a spear, aiming aiming at Itachi, who weaved signs in return and launched a fireball before the spear could reach him. Snakes emerged from Sasuke's arm, biting the ceiling above him. He used them to pull himself up and dodge the fireball, which hit the ground below with an explosion. Sasuke landed upside down on the ceiling, and so did Itachi. He launched more Chidori needles, forcing Itachi to dash to the side, running upside down and reigniting his fire sword out of his kunai. Itachi dashed at Sasuke, who released a Chidori stream, but Itachi halted and tossed the fiery sword at him. Sasuke used 3 snakes to block it, but once the fire hit him, it exploded, sending Sasuke away. Sasuke once again launched snakes, but this time they bit the edge of the hole Sasuke's wing did to the ceiling. Sasuke pulled up and flung himself out of the hideout, landing on the rooftop. The sky was gray outside, and Sasuke felt cold, rushing wind on his face. Tempest clouds are already forming, he thought with a smirk. Itachi emerged from the same hole, dual-wielding kunais, and ran at Sasuke, who made a scowling sound. "I know this is a shadow clone. I can see through all your jutsu," he said, piercing Itachi with a Chidori spear before he got too close. Itachi exploded, and Sasuke dashed back, avoiding the blast entirely. "Are you certain about that, Sasuke?" Itachi appeared behind Sasuke and delivered a backhand chop to his back, which Sasuke managed to block in time, but he was still sent tumbling until he hit one of the walls standing on the rooftop. Itachi's blow detached the red cloak from Sasuke, and it flew away with the wind. Sasuke stood up, but immediately fell to one knee. The curse mark was flaring up again, making Sasuke wince.
I can help you, my dear. You just have to ask. You just have to let yourself go.
"Shut up," Sasuke muttered, refusing to give in, and once again ignoring the pain, he steeled himself. But now he was feeling his left arm becoming numb, and bulged out veins were beginning to pop. "I am certain of one thing, Itachi. Your death." "You remain utterly confident, huh? I'm still not seeing myself dead at your feet. Were those just empty threats?" "You will." Sasuke dashed, weaving hand signs, and Itachi did the same, weaving the exact same hand sign sequence. "Fire style! Fireball jutsu!" They both stopped and spat fire at each other. The fireballs clashed with a fiery rumble, casting bright orange light on the rooftop as Sasuke's red cloak fluttered in the wind far away from the battle. And here we follow the original very closely, with the exception that Sasuke will be using his full curse mark stage 2 during the entire fire style clash, which is what actually gives Sasuke in the rewrites the edge over Itachi's fireball, forcing Itachi to use Amaterasu to extinguish it. We have the scene where Itachi chases Sasuke with Amaterasu, and Sasuke uses the skin change substitution just like in the original. And one difference here is that Itachi will not look so tired, and he will not puke blood. Sasuke used the fire style, aiming Itachi but actually shooting it towards the sky like in the original. After that, Sasuke will be exhausted and deactivate the curse mark. Itachi and Sasuke will exchange the same dialogue, but Itachi won't look as disheveled as in the original, and his right eye will not lose its light here. Moving from there, the Kirin scene remains exactly the same, and nothing changes until Itachi reveals his Susanoo. There will be one major change to Itachi's Susanoo appearance. Unlike in the original where his Susanoo is yellow-orangish, it will be a bright cyan blue here. This change may seem arbitrary, but it'll make sense in the future. I won't explain it here because of spoilers though. Other than the color, Itachi's Susanoo appearance will remain the same. Looking upon Itachi's great Susanoo, Sasuke will reactivate his curse mark in utter hatred, having failed to kill him using his trump card, Kirin. But initially, he won't gain that Orochimaru-esque eye. The scene when Itachi unveils his Susanoo remains the same, with the change that Itachi will not go blind here. He's still using his Mangekyou Sharingan as the Susanoo is activated. "Don't be ridiculous! Whatever you use against me, I'll destroy with my hatred!" Sasuke screamed at the armored Susanoo towering a few dozen meters away from him. He weaved hand signs, still in his curse mark stage 2, now with no wings. The pain around his body was profuse. He felt the hateful curse chakra taking over his psyche. Kill him. Destroy him. Rip him into pieces. It wasn't a voice telling Sasuke that, but rather the sheer maniacal will of the curse mark. Black lightning exploded from Sasuke's left hand, hitting the environment around him, cracking the rubble of the Uchiha hideout, which Kirin had destroyed. Raw cursed chakra exuded from his body, mixing together with the black lightning, and a new set of wings grew out of his back. Veins around Sasuke's body bulged out, and he puked blood, but Sasuke didn't care. He had surrendered to the curse mark, holding his Onyx Chidori. At this rate, the curse mark's gonna be the one to kill him, not Itachi.
Let's see how resilient the boy is. Itachi Uchiha! I'll tear your flesh apart! I'll sunder you beyond recognition! You bastard!
All of Sasuke's cursed chakra focused on a single point, his Chidori. The black lightning gained so much intensity it shattered rocks and the ground all around Sasuke. Its ferocity was such it began to peel off Sasuke's skin and flesh out of his left hand. Sasuke dashed with his Chidori, exploding the ground beneath him for his sheer acceleration. He became a blur of dark lightning, opening a groove on the wreckage as he cruised towards Itachi.
Die!
Sasuke thrust his Chidori as the Susanoo moved its shield in front of Itachi. The dark lightning hit the chakra shield, making an ethereal high-pitched sound. Black lightning bolts flew in all directions, but the Chidori didn't even make a crack. The shield withstood Sasuke's attack without buckling, and it regurgitated a wave of energy back at Sasuke, launching him away. He rocketed through the air and hit debris 30 meters away from the Susanoo, grunting in pain. The curse mark kept on inundating him. Sasuke puked more blood, and more veins around his body began to pop out and bleed as well. How's that possible? Itachi blocked that insane attack without a scratch.
It's that shield. Of course Sasuke won't scratch it.
What is it?
A legendary spiritual weapon, the Yara Mirror. It is said that that shield can block all things in existence. It appears the legends were not an exaggeration.
Sasuke screamed in agony and puked more blood. He tried to stand up, but his legs gave out. Lumps of disgusting cursed flesh began to pop around Sasuke's arms, and he could no longer move.
It appears Sasuke has reached his limit. You lost, Sasuke. What a shame. All those years of training for nothing. Quiet!
Sasuke screamed, trying and failing to stand up. He couldn't retract his curse mark anymore. The energy had taken over him.
In a minute or two, the curse mark will kill you, and he will still be at large, alive and well.
Orochimaru said, and Sasuke's gaze focused on Itachi, who was standing still and had deactivated his Susanoo. He stared at Sasuke, motionless, with those cold Mangekyou Sharingan eyes. The same eyes that looked at Sasuke at that night.
I am your last chance, my dear. Give in. I will kill him for you, and we will share our existences forever. No! I can lend you my power. You need me. Don't you want to take your revenge? Release me. Release my power and fulfill your dream.
Sasuke's mind went back to Team 7, to the Leaf Village. He could finally admit the lie he had been telling himself, that he didn't care about them anymore. That revenge was all that mattered, but deep down, Sasuke yearned to survive. He yearned to see them again, to have things go back to normal. That could never happen now. Sasuke was going to die here, one way or the other. With tears streaming down his eyes, he murmured, "Fine," and let go. Through his mind's eye, he could see Orochimaru's maniacal laughter, and gigantic white snakes emerged out of Sasuke. The Orochimaru versus Itachi fight happens here just like it did in the original. Itachi seals Orochimaru with a Totsuka blade, leaving Sasuke behind shirtless. One important difference here, though, is that Sasuke will still have the curse mark on him. The Totsuka blade only sealed Orochimaru. Oh, Itachi's jutsu dealt with Orochimaru and reverted Sasuke back to normal. It was so quick.
The Susanoo combined with the strongest shield that can deflect all things, and the most powerful blade that can seal all things. It truly makes Itachi invincible.
Sasuke fell to his knees, panting, hurt, with the side effects of the curse mark showing up all around his body. It appears Sasuke can't use the Sharingan anymore. He has no chakra left and lost the powers of Orochimaru. So Itachi's won?
We shall see.
Your eyes, my foolish young brother. They are still inadequate. If you have anything up your sleeve, I suggest you use it. it, Itachi said from within his Susanoo. One important detail is that Itachi will not cough up blood here again. In his desperation, Sasuke will stand up with trembling legs and toss kunais with paper bombs, which Itachi uses the Yaramira to block, as well as rush the Susanoo with his sword and be thrown back, just like in the original. One major difference, however, is that Itachi doesn't look nearly as tired and hurt inside of the Susanoo. Is that serious? You think those rudimentary attacks are gonna do anything against my Susanoo? Do you really have nothing else? I thought I had taught you this lesson before, Itachi said, deactivating the Susanoo, and he reverted his Mangekyou back to the 3 Tomoe Sharingan state. Sasuke roared and once again dashed at Itachi. With no chakra left, using the curse mark would kill him instantly, so the only thing Sasuke had left was taijutsu alone. He didn't even have ninja weapons anymore. His legs were wobbly and his body was heavy, but he screamed, turning all his hatred towards Itachi. Itachi casually avoided Sasuke's initial punch and countered with a punch to Sasuke's stomach, which made him spit out. Sasuke attacked again, but his moves were too slow. Itachi had no issue dodging and landing a punch to Sasuke's face, then a kick to his side. Then he grabbed Sasuke's shoulders, pulling him in and stroked his face with his knee. After that, Itachi rotated and landed a roundhouse kick to Sasuke's chest, sending him flying away. Sasuke hit the rubble and fell. His face gushed out blood, and he was barely conscious. With gelatin legs, Sasuke stood up again and rushed Itachi, but he was useless. He could not land a single attack, and Itachi hit him time and time again. It's just like that day. You've gotten stronger, but you haven't changed at all, Sasuke. Itachi grabbed Sasuke by the neck and lifted him off the ground. You still lack hatred. Itachi lobbed Sasuke, tossing him against the rubble. He fell on the ground again and tried to stand up, but his body failed Sasuke. He could barely move. Then perhaps I have to motivate you further. Itachi passed his thumb on the trail of blood the Amaterasu tears left on his face and weaved hand signs. Summoning jutsu. He touched his hand on the ground and 3 metal boxes appeared from white smoke. Do you know how the Leaf found our location here? It's because I told them, and I knew your old team would come here after you and me, Sasuke. Naruto Uzumaki sees that as his responsibility. What does that have to do with anything? I have to thank you, Sasuke. Your fight with him the other day made it much easier for me to capture my quarry. You see, my assignment in the Akatsuki had always been to capture the Nine Tails. I suppose I'll have to share half of the credit with you. The others, to be fair, weren't much harder. What are you talking about? Itachi weaved a sign and the metal boxes opened. Kakashi and Sakura's corpses dropped to the ground, making a wet noise. Out of the 3rd box fell 2 bisected arms and 2 bisected legs with orange and black clothing. It was very easy to capture him. You slashed his ankles for me. He could barely move. But you see, Sasuke, if you defeat me here, there is a chance you can still save Naruto Uzumaki. I captured him, but he'll have to wait until all other 8-tailed beasts are extracted from the other Jinchuriki so the 9 tails can be extracted. Unfortunately for him, I had to take his limbs. As you know, the boy can be quite lively. Sasuke was in shock. He stared in horror with bulged out eyes at Kakashi's body. His Sharingan was missing. He looked at Naruto's limbs, but he couldn't bring himself to look at Sakura. Liar! You put me under a genjutsu again! Sasuke bit his hand, drawing out blood, but no genjutsu was dispelled. No, that couldn't be. It made no sense. Then again, Sasuke knew his former team was after him. They were nearby. My team would have sensed a fight if you captured him and fought against them. Sasuke tried dispelling genjutsu again, focusing the few droplets of chakra he still had left. But nothing happened. And besides, Sasuke didn't have the same feeling he had when Itachi was casting genjutsu on him, but he just couldn't bring himself to believe that was reality. You were wrong. After your fight against Deidara, you were all exhausted. That was when I ambushed them. It wasn't difficult to ambush a Leaf team. Many of them were exhausted. Most of them were weak. This girl in particular. Itachi lifted Sakura's corpse with a disgusted face. She was quite pathetic. Let her go! No. Let her
go!
And what exactly are you going to do about it, Sasuke? Sasuke tried to stand up, but he was too weak. It was just like that night when Sasuke watched Itachi looming over him and his dead parents. Powerless, useless, nothing changed. Sasuke lost again. No! Sasuke shook his head. That had to be some sort of trick. It had to be. If it wasn't a trick, that meant Sasuke caused Naruto's death after he hurt him that way, and also Sakura and Kakashi's for drawing them here. No, that was just not possible. Itachi sighed and threw Sakura's body as if it was a trash bag in Sasuke's general direction. She was going to land a few meters away from him, but Sasuke couldn't. He couldn't let her hit the ground. But that wasn't real. It wasn't the real Sakura. Sasuke thought, justifying to himself what was happening there. He spurred into motion. His legs somehow moved, and he jumped, catching Sakura before she hit the ground and landing on his knees. It had been so long since Sasuke touched her, felt her warmth, but now she was ice cold. She had a large stab wound to her chest. No, this couldn't be. And that was when it hit Sasuke. 1,000 memories flashed in his mind. Times with Team 7, Sakura, Naruto, and Kakashi. Good times, bad times, failed missions, successful missions, lazy days, eating Ichiraku ramen, his fight with Naruto in the Valley of the End, the night he left the village, the night he laid Sakura on that bench after knocking her unconscious. It was the last time Sasuke had smelled it, and now the smell hit him again. He had even held his breath when he encountered Sakura in the Land of Grass hideout. It was almost enchanting for him, forcing out memories he repressed, and that's why he didn't want to smell it again. The smell. It was Sakura's smell. He remembered it perfectly. She always used the same fragrance she found out about in one of their missions, a scent he never admitted, but was always eager to smell every day when they had missions in the Leaf Village. It comforted him somehow. Sasuke felt ashamed of that, for he thought it was weakness. That smell. Sasuke gently touched her frigid cheek. Tears escaped his eyes without Sasuke even realizing. Tears of blood. They dripped on Sakura's dead face, and Sasuke looked at Itachi, who was still staring at him. It was as if the air around Sasuke became denser and colder. Sasuke was calm, chillingly so. He realized his own lucidity. His eyes, still crying blood, activated into the Sharingan. The three Tomoe spun and fused together, forming the shape of a lotus flower. Itachi smiled. Finally, this is where the real battle begins. He awakened the Mangekyou Sharingan. This feeling, this chakra, it's frightening.
Interesting. So his love has finally matured into hatred. Itachi really managed to force that out of him.
You have finally become a useful little brother, Sasuke. Now, I shall collect your eyes and fulfill my destiny. Sasuke ignored what Itachi was saying. He radiated staggering cold fury. His left eye bulged out, and red veins connected themselves to the red lotus pupil.
Amaterasu.
Dark flame spawned at Itachi, who was fast enough to activate his Mangekyou Sharingan and manifest the skeletal Susanoo, a single skeletal arm, wielding the Yaramir, which he used to put it in front of himself and block Amaterasu. The black fire hit the shield after spawning, but did no damage. It also didn't catch the Yaramir on fire like Amaterasu would anything else.
As expected from the Yaramir, not even Amaterasu can penetrate it.
But Sasuke's right Mangekyou Sharingan spun, and the dark flames, which were about to fade, turned into a dozen thin dark tendrils that wrapped themselves around the Yaramir and darted towards Itachi.
What? He can manipulate the Amaterasu flames?
Itachi thought, and dashed away. The Amaterasu tendrils hit the ground. Sasuke, still kneeling and holding Sakura in his arms, looked at Itachi again and ignited a blast of Amaterasu, which Itachi once again blocked with a Yaramir that was being held by one Susanoo arm in skeletal form. Itachi ran over the debris, leaving the shields in between between Sasuke and Itachi, but Sasuke chased Itachi with his gaze, igniting an Amaterasu on the mirror and keeping his eyesight there, never stopping the jutsu. Dark flames kept on erupting at the Atamir and incinerating debris everywhere. Red veins popped again in Sasuke's right eye, turning the white of his eye almost completely red. Somehow Sasuke knew what to do. He realized he had complete control over the fire, as if it was innate to him. He was the overlord of the dark flames. Inferno style. Almighty ripple. The black fire which was spawning and cutting on the debris coalesced together and moved on its own, rounding itself behind Itachi and completely surrounding him. The fire rose up like a tsunami, ready to engulf Itachi. The scale of that Amaterasu was much larger than Itachi's. Inferno style. First hell. The dark fire crashed and collapsed, exploding in itself. Itachi activated his corporeal armored Susanoo, protecting himself from Amaterasu, but the dark flames hit the entire humanoid. He dashed away, leaving the dark inferno. Black flames had engulfed the Susanoo completely, and the only part that didn't burn was the Yaramir. The dark fire consumed and destroyed the chakra of the Susanoo, getting closer to Itachi within. Such power! He can control Amaterasu with his gaze alone!
The new chakra that manifested with the awakening. It's more intense than Sasuke with the second stage of the curse mark. It's even putting Itachi's Susanoo on the run.
Itachi turned around with his Susanoo, exposing his back to Sasuke. He lifted the Yaramir, allowing him to dash out of the Susanoo without passing through the fire. Itachi weaved signs and sped a water wall that trailed behind him, covering Itachi from Sasuke's gaze. Amaterasu engulfed and consumed the Susanoo Itachi left behind completely. Sasuke felt excruciating pain. It was as if his eyes were on fire and the pain rippled all around his body. Sasuke ignored it. The Mangekyou Sharingan kept on crying blood, and Sasuke didn't even blink. Dark flames kept on spawning at Itachi. This time the water barrier he created stopped Amaterasu from reaching him, but the fire destroyed the water in a split second. Itachi reactivated the Susanoo before the flames could reach him. Sasuke wasted no time. He targeted the Susanoo again, grunting in pain from his efforts. How can he use his Mangekyou Sharingan to this extent right after the awakening? He should be feeling so much pain it would be impossible to stay conscious. Itachi wondered, raising the Yaramir. The shield blocked Amaterasu again, and the Susanoo extended its free arm out. It split into two connected forearms, each with a hand. Sasuke molded Amaterasu to go around the Susanoo and destroy it from all sides, but the hands of the Susanoo manifested three large chakra tomoi connected by a thread of chakra in between them. The thread looped together, forming a circle, and the tomoi resembled a Sharingan. Yasaka no Magatama! The Susanoo threw the beads at Sasuke. They spun in the air, cruising with great speed, forcing Sasuke to divert his gaze from Itachi. He had to dodge out of the way in a split second, but his legs wouldn't move. But Sasuke flickered his eyes down and saw Sakura's face. Somehow, that gave him strength. Still grabbing Sakura, his leg sprung into action and he darted away. The Yasaka beads missed Sasuke by a hair and they hit the debris behind where he stood. The beads exploded with enormous force, sending the wreckage of the hideout in all directions and raising a large column of blue chakra and smoke. As Sasuke landed with Sakura, two Itachi shadow clones emerged from the ground, advancing at Sasuke from opposite sides. He must have sent him underground when his Susanoo was burning and I couldn't see it. I can't let them explode close to me, Sasuke thought, flaring his Mangekyou Sharingan. Inferno style. Thunderous blaze. A ring of dark fire formed itself around Sasuke and blades of fire leapt out of it, piercing and consuming the Itachi clones until they ceased to exist, before Itachi could even explode them. But Itachi sent another spinning disc of Yasaka beads at Sasuke when he was distracted. There was no time to dodge this one. Sasuke looked at the incoming beads with his bleeding eyes. Inferno style. Lance of hell. The circle of fire surrounding him coalesced in front of Sasuke in the shape of a dark, blazing spear, which he shot at the Yasuka beads. The two jutsus clashed against each other with immense force. A great dark and blue explosion erupted mid-air, sending a massive shockwave, which shot embers of dark fire far beyond where the jutsus impacted. Itachi discarded his burning Susanoo once again to get rid of the flames, but Sasuke ignored the overwhelming pain in his eyes and ignited Amaterasu once more. Itachi blocked, once more bringing forth the Yaramir, but now Itachi's eyes winced and he felt a wave of sharp pain echoing in his body.
As expected, Itachi may be seasoned with the Mangekyou Sharingan, but maintaining the Susanoo takes a heavy toll on the body. He can control it extremely well and only use the chakra necessary for it, but simply using the jutsu will hurt you. Sasuke, on the other hand, has a fresh new set of eyes, but he cannot fully control them yet, which forces him to spend far more chakra.
This fight, I've never seen anything like it.
This is the real power of the Uchiha clan, before it was shackled by the Leaf Village.
Zetsu observed massive rising columns of dark fire hitting the Susanoo as Itachi flung his shield around, blocking the incoming attacks, but the shield couldn't cover the entire ethereal body. Sasuke hit the Susanoo with inferno-style spears, which erupted into a blazing hell. Itachi discarded his Susanoo once more, panting in exhaustion. Both fighters were extremely fatigued and feeling an unthinkable amount of pain from their dojutsu.
Itachi, it doesn't matter what you do,
my hatred will vanquish you, Sasuke said, igniting Amaterasu once more. Itachi used the Susanoo ribcage this time around himself to make sure he wouldn't be hit by the fire. The flames erupted and sent Itachi flying with his ribcage. It caught completely on fire, but Itachi managed to discard it, falling from the ribcage down below where the ribs weren't blocking and the Amaterasu flames weren't catching, and he fell down on debris. He landed with his hand on a piece of sharp rock, which cut the hand and sprayed blood on his fingers. Dark fire spread itself in the air in front and above Itachi, ready to completely engulf him, but Itachi closed his eyes and activated his armored Susanoo with the Yaramir, blocking the inferno style. Itachi winced and grunted in pain. His Mangekyou Sharingan eyes faded. The crimson color with a swirling fused tomoe shape gave way to a dull, lifeless gray. He kept his Susanoo activated though. At the same time, Sasuke's vision became blurry and an overwhelming wave of searing hot pain washed over his body. His Mangekyou Sharingan deactivated.
Itachi lost the light of his Mangekyou Sharingan, but he can still keep his Susanoo activated, meaning he has some chakra left. Sasuke, on the other hand, doesn't seem to have chakra to use the Mangekyou anymore. He lacked experience and used the jutsus excessively without proper chakra control.
So if Itachi still has chakra, has he won, even if he can't see anymore?
That seems to be the case, especially because Sasuke can barely move due to the damage his body sustained.
Itachi looked at Sasuke with his menacing dead eyes and extended his right hand, dripping blood.
They're my eyes. Mine.
He moved towards Sasuke, still clad in his Susanoo. Sasuke's legs gave out. He had to leave Sakura's body behind and crawled back, trying to get away from Itachi. His sight came back to focus and he saw his brother with his hand outstretched, ready to snatch his eyes. It was a truly terrifying sight. Sasuke crawled back, but Itachi kept coming, and a shiver washed over Sasuke as Itachi got closer, encompassing him with his Susanoo. Weak as they were, Sasuke's legs managed to rise. But as he was about to dash away, he hit a wall behind him he hadn't noticed because of Itachi's menacing presence coming towards him. The two brothers faced each other, and Itachi moved his bloody hand towards Sasuke's face, which betrayed a look of utter desperation. Combined with his trembling legs, there wasn't much he could do except Sasuke put his right hand behind his back. Itachi kept on moving his hand hand towards Sasuke's face. His lips murmured something, and then curled into a smile. Bloody fingers approached Sasuke's eyes. Itachi was ready for his prize. When they reached Sasuke's face, Itachi tapped Sasuke in the forehead with his bleeding index and middle fingers, staining the forehead with blood. It only took a split second. Even though Sasuke was puzzled by Itachi's action, he weaved one-handed signs with the right hand he held behind his back and thrust forward. At the last instant, Sasuke ignited a Chidori which pierced Itachi through the heart, exiting from his back in a spray of crimson blood and azure lightning. Sasuke's hand was inside of Itachi at the same time his brother held his fingers tapping his forehead. Itachi puked blood, and the fingers that were tapping Sasuke's forehead tripped down, drawing a line of blood across his face. Sasuke yanked his head from Itachi's chest, utterly drenched in blood, and with an ethereal and oddly beautiful roar, Itachi's Susanoo ceased to exist. His body limped forward, and he hit his head on the wall right next to Sasuke's face, falling down. Itachi's life ended at Sasuke's feet, with a large hole in the middle of his chest and a pool of blood forming beneath him. Sasuke breathed heavily from shock and exhaustion as the dark flames of Amaterasu spread all around and beyond the hideout location, starting to take over the entire surrounding forest. The lone white snake, which had managed to single-handedly escape Itachi's Totsuka blade seal, however, manages to narrowly avoid the fire and escape without being consumed, which may not seem like it, but it's a massive change from the original. Itachi is dead, White Zetsu thought, staring at the former Akatsuki's body.
It's Sasuke's victory.
A powerful rumble came from the sky, which had turned dark. I don't get it. Itachi was so close to getting Sasuke's eyes, and he lowered his guard at the last moment for that Chidori. Heavy rain began to fall, drenching the hideout, but it was useless in quenching the dark flames.
Sasuke couldn't use his Mangekyou Sharingan anymore, but apparently he still had enough chakra for a final desperate jutsu. Because of the blindness, Itachi couldn't see that Sasuke still had some chakra, and Sasuke used the Chidori with his right hand. He usually does it with his left. That could have tricked Itachi.
I guess, but I don't think Itachi would have fallen for that. Why do you think he'd be so careless if he was blind?
He was probably running dangerously low on chakra as well. He sustained his Susanoo for a long time, so he had to be quick about it. However, we cannot draw conclusions yet.
Lightning and thunder roared in the sky above as Sasuke stood, leaning against the wall, which the rain pelted now. His eyes turned down, looking at Itachi's dead body. He had finally achieved his life goal. He finally killed the bastard who massacred his clan, but no smile came to Sasuke's lips. No sense of triumph washed over him. He wasn't even lucky enough to feel relieved. His eyes flickered to Sakura's body, then to Kakashi, and then to Naruto's limbs. That was all his fault. There was no way around it. Sasuke only felt desperation and powerlessness. He felt he had accomplished nothing. His body collapsed from the damage and exhaustion, falling next to Itachi straight into his brother's pool of blood, which was now mixing with the rain. The two brothers laid there, motionless, amidst the destroyed hideout of their own clan. The dark flames surrounded it, and lightning came down the sky, meeting the black fire. Above the two, ironically enough, remained the only piece of the construction that had survived the battle, a piece of a wall. On it, the Uchiha clan emblem was etched. A lightning bolt flashed and came down the sky, striking the emblem, destroying the wall with it. The last piece of the hideout. Nothing had remained. Watch part 63 right here. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe and ring notifications if you haven't. Those things are very helpful. Comment below what you thought about this episode, and thank you so much for watching.